Hello, my friends. So we are in a point that we already polished the water and we injected it. We don't have water in the process. We already have oil in the specs, and we're going to get the gas in the specs also to deliver it. By the way, in the last video that we had about taking the water and oil in compliances, I forgot to tell you that we evaluated a technology called, well, it's known in the industry as microflotation with microbubbles. And it was a good result. We injected that microbubbles to the skin tank. What I told you that after I separate most of the water from the feed water in a cow, that goes to the skim tank. That water goes to the skim tank, but still has oil, like 2,000, between 1,000 and 2,000 parts per million of oil, but droplets. So we use chemicals like coagulant and flocculant to make them get together. The droplets, they get together and they float. So we inject it. In the intake of the tank, we injected microbubbles, and we could double the capacity of that tank, maintaining the quality of the water in the output. Or you can get the water more than double the quality, maintaining the capacity of the tank. Okay, depending on what you want, you can double the capacity, or you can reduce or improve or optimize the quality of the water, and you can eliminate part of the process in the water treatment. It could be the flotation, the cells and flotation cells. You can eliminate it. So that's something that we also evaluated. We don't know what the company did with that project, so I cannot tell you more than that, but it's a good technology. And I wanted to tell you also about the optimization of the gathering of the fluids in the field. You can either do it, if you have a gas lift well, you do it by optimizing how much gas or how much compression capacity you're going to use in the well, depending on the nodal analysis of the reservoir, the capacity of the reservoir to put fluids in the well, and the transportation curve, the nodal analysis, the changes in the wells if the gas lift is being optimized. And when you have pump, like I mentioned, the changes in the well, the optimization is because of the energy needed for the new well, which is producing less oil, and we shouldn't spend too much electricity on it. So that's what we call optimization of the whole field. And I'm going to have a section about digital oil field, because I don't think, depending on the resources that you have to recover the losses from the wells, I don't think you need too much digital oil field when you don't have those resources. But I will talk about it later. Okay, so we are ready to, like I said, we are here. We want to sell gas and we want to sell oil, because we already left the water behind. There are places like Kern River in California where they sell the water. They put the water to such good conditions that they can sell it to, normal uses of water. So you can also sell the water, okay? That could be a business. And I don't know if I mentioned, but I worked in a field where we were going to take the water to such a good conditions to irrigation process, and we're going to produce elephant, forget the word, but it's to produce biomass, okay, to generate electricity. So you can do things with the water too, okay, depends on where you are, okay. If you find a use, go for it. So we're ready to sell things. So we need to find the ways of putting the the products in places where we need to sell it. So like I was telling you that we put the oil in conditions at the town farm. Sometimes we separate the gas in the same place, but we already talked about it. So we have the oil ready to get in the pipeline. So we pump it in the pipelines, and if we have very huge distances, we can use in the middle, we can use pumpers. So because especially if it's heavy oil, there's no way you can put it there with only pumping from the start. Okay, so we use a pre-pumping system or boosters, we can call it. This is the case in Colombia of the pipeline system. Okay, so it's huge distances that we can pump it with one power at the beginning. Okay, so some places like Colombia, the pipelines are, for the guerrilla and those guys that they don't want to be decent, they normally blow this pipeline. So it's something that is very risky there. So it needs a lot of taking care of the things, or the security of the pipelines, especially in Colombia. So we after we put the oil in place, so they come the big, the big vessels to take them to the whatever we sell them to. In some town farms, before they put it in the vessels, they do mix between the different oils just to get in specs for the clients, because it depends on the refinery, I would say, how they build the refineries. So depending on that, they do mixtures of hydrocarbons here so that they can have what they need here in the vessel. By the way, in the vessel, you do the last fiscalization of the product before it's been sold. The gas, we need to treat the gas too, okay? So the gas is, nowadays, it's a very expensive product. It used to be before that they didn't care very much about the gas, and I know places where they had a lot of venting, okay? So when we have the gas, what the gas is a mixture of light gases, and it also contains sometimes CO2, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, sulfuric acid, or helium. So when I have a gas, I need to know what quality of gas I'm selling, because if I have to treat it, like I have to sweeten it, because I have a sour gas, so I have to take into consideration those processes. And the gas reservoirs, as you exploit them, you're going to get some water. And when I get water, I have to, sometimes that water or those condensates, because if you remember, after we go across the dew point pressure, we're going to get some liquid in the bottom of the well. So we need something, an artificial lifting system, so that we can get the water out of the well, and the gas can be produced. For that, we use the plunger lift that I mentioned, or we can use gas lift, just to get rid of the water. So, and the gas, you use it to inject back in the reservoir. We have to generate power, forget this, liquefied petroleum gas. And we can use this gas lift, and we can send it to the chemical processes plants. Those are the uses for the gas, okay? Water treatments do we have? Normally we have the scrubbers to get the gas and condensates out of the gas. I mean, the water and condensate out of the gas, and we get free gas. And when we have H2S or CO2, we need to sweeten it with amines. So this is where the sour gas gets in the treatment, and it goes through a lot of processes, and finally we get sweet gas. So we get rid of the CO2 and H2S before we treat it. I mean, before we process it, we need to do this. And the same, well, there have been advances, important advances in utilizing the gas, because it used to be that we couldn't use the gas to generate because of the CO2. Now they have generators that can handle that. So they handle the gas and the CO2. So, and they are being used in Colombia. I know some applications there. So, we are ready to deliver the gas also for that. So for that, also, the gas has to travel long distances. So we also need compressors and boosters along the way, so that we can get a good pressure at the delivery places. So for that we need to use compressors. So we have two kinds of compressors. There are reciprocating compressors and the centrifuge compressor. So like in Venezuela, this was the old technology. So, but they were we use this work as a cylinder travels in the barrel, and it compresses the gas, and you can increase the pressure, depending on the stages of compression you have. And then we changed to the centrifuge or stationary compressors, which is more and more recent technology. And it works like the gas gets in the centrifuge. It converts the kinetic energy to the potential energy, and that is the way we get to increase the pressure of the compressor. And these are pictures of what we call centrifuge compressors, and they could get as high as whatever volume we need to handle. And so, the same that I told you, how we recollect the gas. After we have the gas compressed, the formation gas, we need to sell it. If we inject it, we can generate, but we can also send it to the gas lines, big gas line, and do huge distances. This is an example of the gathering system in Venezuela, gas system. And we produce more gas in the east, and the gas travels to, first it gets injected in a project, and then one of the biggest field in Venezuela called Furrial. I don't know if it still exists, but we used to inject a lot of gas because we needed to keep the reservoir pressure high so that we didn't get asphaltene in the reservoir and put in risk the reserves. And the rest of the gas was distributed to the rest of the country. The gas in Venezuela, in the west, in Zulia, close to Colombia, we used to send it to the petrochemical and get some products that I mentioned to you. Well, that's it about taking the products in specs to the delivery places. And it's a question of doing the right thing, getting everything in compliances, and getting the equipment to get there with a good pressure that the system requires. I'll see you next presentation. Thank you very much.